run a space in Basel with three friends called New Jersey, and back then it was exactly the same time during Art Basel, and we invited Ida to do a show in our small, tiny space. But the one thing that we were a bit annoyed by was, yeah, how can we pull up, do a show, and so that we don't have to be in the space, because obviously, it was Art Basel time, and we wanted to go out and doing party, not sitting in a gallery. So we talked to Ida, and then Ida said, you know what we could do? I just paint. So we had two big windows. So I just paint these two windows. We do an opening party. Then we close the door, and we never go back again. But this way, like all the people who wanted to see the show, they could go anytime, day and night, because the show was always open, because it was the window, the painting on the window. So at the end of the show, we just took knives out and took all the painting down, and everything was gone. And I think there were a couple of elements in that show that are also present in here. For instance, a very relaxed and distant way of dealing with her own work, but also a very serious and committed way to get engaged with the space, with people, with us back then. But my first question, so I would like to go, maybe in the first part, know more, asking you more about, all these other things you did with, back in the time to Oslo. And then in the second part, I would like to move more into the show and maybe talk about a few works here. Since this is this very rare occasion when you can do a talk in the space with the artworks itself, so you don't have to project all these flat JPEGs on the wall. So Ida, the question behind this is obviously, how did you get into art? Where does it come from? You once said that it started with doing things with maybe graffiti. How did that go? Can you say something about you getting into visual material, into getting paint in your hands?
Yeah, I actually, it sounds a bit cliche, but I think it was through graffiti in Oslo, and then I started to look at artists like Basquiat, just naturally, because that was an artist that had done graffiti when he was younger. And from then on, it's kind of, the interest grew, and I kind of moved away from graffiti.
But were you part of a graffiti crew?
Yeah. Yes.
And what was your name?
One of them was Pil og Bue, which is bow and arrow. And it's not.
But it's a long name, Pil og Bue.
Yeah.
And was it mainly? Were you the only girl back then in the group?
No, there was a few girls, like 3 girls maybe. Yeah.
And then they all become artists?
No.
What happened to them?
One is a professional skier, I think, and the other one is a drug addict.
And what happened to the girls in the group?
Yeah, that's what happened to them.
And the boys you don't remember?
No, some of them still write, actually.
Some are still active?
Yeah.
So you once said that this skate graffiti milieu was a very manly or man-run culture. How did you react to that? How was that? Would you talk about these things?
Not so much back then, actually. I was attracted to other girls. I also breakdanced when I was younger. And there was also, I was in a breakdance crew with girls called Female Force. I haven't talked about this in 20 years. Yeah, but I was attracted to, girls doing graffiti or girls. There was like a little group of girls that I hung out.
And that was before you then enter into doing exhibitions and yeah. So how much in between was that like you would be part of these graffiti crews and then started to do shows or?
Yeah, I think I started to do. I would go. There was a bus garage in Oslo that you could kind of climb some ladders. You could there was murals everywhere, but you couldn't. You could kind of stay there for a long time and paint instead of, the normal procedure where you paint and then you run.
Yes.
And there was a whole summer.